They said the dirtiest floors hide the quietest legends, but nobody in that headquarters believed it that morning. Asterisk, what city are you watching from today? If this story resonated with you, hit subscribe for more stories about extraordinary people. The janitor pushed his cart down the marble corridor before sunrise, moving with a careful rhythm that came from decades of discipline. His uniform was plain, his boots scuffed, his head slightly bowed as officers passed without noticing him. He had learned long ago that invisibility was a kind of armor. This story is about a man whose past was heavier than the keys on his belt. The building belonged to a joint command center, a place where rank decided everything. Generals walked fast and spoke louder than everyone else. Junior officers stopped talking when senior brass entered the room. Even civilians felt the pressure in the air. And the janitor felt it too, every single day. His name was Daniel Reyes. Most people never asked. To them, he was just a cleaning guy who showed up before dawn and left before lunch. He cleaned conference rooms after strategy meetings, wiped fingerprints off glass doors, and emptied trash cans full of classified drafts. He never read a single page. That was not his place. Daniel was in his late 60s, with silver hair cropped short and hands marked by old scars that no amount of soap could erase. He moved with a limp he never explained. When asked, he always smiled and said it was from getting old. On that morning, a high-level inspection was scheduled. A 4-star general was arriving to evaluate the facility. Tension crackled through the halls. Everyone wanted everything perfect. Daniel was mopping the main corridor when the general arrived earlier than expected. The doors opened, and a group of officers surrounded him like a moving wall of authority. The general's uniform was immaculate, ribbons stacked perfectly across his chest. His voice carried effortlessly. He stopped abruptly when he saw the janitor's cart blocking part of the hallway. The general frowned. Who left this here? He asked sharply. Daniel looked up, surprised, and immediately moved to pull the cart aside. Sorry, sir, he said. I will be out of the way. The general did not move. He looked Daniel up and down, his gaze lingering on the old boots, the plain name badge, the mop in his hand. You people are always in the way, the general said. Do you know how important this inspection is? Daniel lowered his eyes. Yes, sir. The general scoffed. This place is not a retirement home. If you cannot keep up, you should not be here. A few officers laughed nervously. Others looked away. Daniel swallowed the insult like he had swallowed many before. He had learned that silence was easier than explaining a life no one wanted to hear about. I will finish quickly. Sir, he said. The general waved him off and continued down the hall. Still shaking his head, Daniel stood there for a moment, steadying himself, then returned to his work. The floor still needed to shine. Later that morning, the command staff gathered in the main briefing room. Flags lined the walls. History stared down from framed photographs of past leaders. Daniel entered quietly to clean after the meeting, as he always did. He kept his head down as officers lingered, discussing schedules and reports. The general remained behind, reviewing documents with his aide. Daniel moved toward the far wall, wiping down a table. As he leaned forward, his shirt shifted slightly, and something slipped out from beneath it. A small ribbon medal fell against his chest. Catching the light before disappearing back under the fabric, the general's eyes narrowed. Hold on, he said. The room went silent. Daniel froze. Come here. The general ordered. Daniel approached slowly. Confusion etched across his face. What is that on your chest? The general asked. Daniel hesitated. His hand instinctively moved to his shirt. It is nothing, sir, he said softly. The general stepped closer. That did not look like nothing. He reached out, not roughly but insistently, and pulled the fabric aside just enough to see it clearly. The Medal of Honor. The air in the room seemed to collapse inward. The general stared, his expression draining of color. That is not possible, he said. Daniel gently stepped back. Sir, please. The general straightened instantly. His posture changed. His voice changed. Where did you get that medal? he asked. Quietly now, Daniel took a breath he had not needed in years. I earned it. Sir, the general's aide looked at the medal, then at Daniel's face, then back at the medal. He began typing furiously on his tablet. The general's eyes widened as the information appeared. Daniel Reyes. He read aloud. Former staff sergeant. Deployed 3 combat tours. Actions cited for conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity at the risk of life above and beyond the call of duty. The room was completely silent. The general looked up at Daniel. Disbelief giving way to something heavier. Why are you mopping floors? He asked. Daniel's voice was steady. Because when I came home, the war did not stay behind. I lost my unit. I lost my family. Cleaning keeps my hands busy. It keeps the noise quiet. The general removed his cap. Every officer in the room followed suit without being told. The general took a step back and stood at attention. Then slowly, he raised his hand in a salute. Daniel did not return it at first. His eyes filled, but his posture remained calm. Sir, you do not need to do that. He said, Yes, I do, the general replied. I should have done it the moment I saw you. The general turned to the room. This man is a hero, he said. And today, I forgot what that really looks like. He faced Daniel again. I mocked you this morning, he said. That was wrong. Rank does not live in uniforms. It lives in actions. Daniel nodded once. Thank you, sir. The general lowered his salute and extended his hand. Daniel shook it, his grip firm despite the years. From that day on, things changed. Daniel was offered an office job, then a ceremonial position. He declined both. He kept his cart. He kept his routine, but now officers stopped to greet him. Cadets asked him questions. Generals nodded as they passed, and every morning, as the sun crept through the windows, the janitor with the Medal of Honor polished the floors of a building that had finally learned to see him. Because sometimes the greatest respect comes not from being known, but from being understood. What did this story make you feel? Where are you watching from? Subscribe to Soul Relief Stories for more real stories that heal the heart.